I'm waiting. Hey, everybody, this is Richard, and we are back with another session of Dark Streets and Darker Secrets set in the fictional city of Pentola, as detailed in Michael Lombardi's book Pentola and his upcoming set of zine modules, Beneath the Canals. We are working on some of his upcoming material tonight, and I have 4 fantastic players who you met last week with us, and they're going to reintroduce their characters now, starting with too many windows open. Sorry. Starting with Stinter playing Sibel.
Yeah, so Sibel is a 40-something former oil field worker who got into an accident and came out of it with some memories that she can't quite put her finger on, but she seems to be getting some of those back as we venture beneath the city right now.
Nice. And then Thubin playing Jabril.
Yeah. Jabril is gifted with a pact with the demon who last time I think, well, not last time was more dealing with Asmus, so we'll get into that later, but Jabril is tied to this demon who is into wolf/dog motifs, so and he can do sort of some magic based around that. Well, not necessarily based around that, but he can do magic.
And next, Salazar, played by Jason.
Salazar is another gifted one who is just a regular fellow trapped in the body of a serpent man. This has created some awkward social situations for him. We still recording? Yeah, right?
Yep.
Great. Lost your image there. Awkward social situations? Yes, like escaping from the serpent people and being aided on the way out by a wealthy businesswoman, by which I mean serpent woman, who is now the sponsor of their merry band, and also kind of sketchy. So that's sort of what they're all about right now.
All right. And finally, Asmus, played by Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jesse. I'm playing Asmus of Hailstrom, a Pentolan nobleman who's currently getting poked in the back by a dog. A Pentolan nobleman who is interested in kind of the bohemian life. He's ambiguously middle-aged, could run anywhere from 40 to 55. You wouldn't necessarily be able to tell, and is has a brother-in-law who currently separated from Asmus's brother, who he once wounded and scarred needlessly in a duel and hates him, who is pursuing this alchemist, whom the suzerain has also sent us after, if I remember correctly.
The specifics was to make sure the deal doesn't happen, basically.
Right. We're supposed to prevent the deal between the alchemist and Jens Martinel, my asshole brother-in-law.
The alchemist is called Paprika, or his name is that's what they go by.
All right. So let us recap a little of what happened last session. Thank you, guys.
What was the guy's name? The serpent man who was disguised as a handsome guy who told us who gave us the job. Well, first of all, most of us were running away from Lazar's men, and then we ended up in Asmus's apartment, and then we received the visit. And then Sibel told us about the door. We found the door. We went in, found some rats, and that's about all I can remember because I'm dead. Or I was dead.
What about anybody else? Any other details that were important?
We rolled about as many failures as successes in the session before. So, but about other than that, I can't remember.
Did we mention the jacket lying on the floor?
No, you did not mention the odd jacket lying on the floor where the rats had sort of taken up. Some of the rats had sort of made a nest.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Nobody really wants to disturb baby rats, but it kind of seems like it might be a thing that is important. So.
Oh yeah, they probably got here before us.
I investigated it,
Oh,
and that's how we know it's just an ordinary modern style jacket, I believe, is how it was described.
Okay.
It looked like sort of an army or
baby
Navy
rats.
surplus jacket. It didn't have any sort of emblems or logos on it, but it did have sort of that sort of like government or issued military cut.
Am I the weirdo for thinking I should check literally every single pocket and every single discarded garment that I find everywhere in the world?
No one's judging you.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
To be fair, you're also wearing what? Baggy clothes?
Baggy clothes. I don't want them to get ripped.
So two things that I think, Sibel, the suzerain's agent gave you the job of looking for this Paprika who went missing in this portion of the city. You had seen and found a space on the wall that you knew to be a secret door. You didn't like magically see a secret door. You just saw a space on the wall that you remembered having a secret door there. And you also remembered being in a space, like once you started descending, much like this, if not this, with other people who had worked on the oil fields. Correct? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You also saw evidence outside that someone had come this way very recently.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly Jens. The person you know is looking for a space like this. So I think that's everything. And I believed we stopped. Where?
I think it was like a fork in the road or something.
Yeah. We had stopped just as you guys got to where the jacket was. You all have, I think most of you have electric lamps, right?
Most of us have like kerosene or oil.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I don't think it occurred to me that electric was even an option. So.
Yeah, like
Sorry,
most of us, like I have a kerosene, Sibel has a propane, and the other half has oil lanterns.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for all I know, that it's like Leviathan oil or something. It's not really, settings. Who can say?
I didn't mean to rub the lack of, electric batteries in your faces like that. So, all right. So you're there. There is the jacket on the floor. There are some baby rats. There are some sleeping adult rats. There is a kind of a dark, cavernous space off to your left, and a hallway leading away from you slightly to a kind of a rocky hallway leading away from you to your right that ends in a couple of big doors.
I would like, if possible, to try to sense the telltale presence of magic.
I was gonna do the same, but not since Salazar had the idea first. I'll let him, or said it first rather. I will instead ask Sibel if she remembers where to go.
So, do I remember? Is there something I should roll for that?
Yeah, make a before I botch stat names.
Luck.
No. So we'll go ahead and make an intellect check.
Intellect.
Oh.
I was going to say
Oh,
intellect.
goody.
Yeah.
Goody.
Does anybody mind if I clear all these dice?
No,
I
go
don't
ahead.
mind.
Go for it.
Okay.
The only one that I just rolled the 9, which would be a success on the sensing of magic.
Okay. Well, we will remember that. Okay. And I will roll here. I got a 6, and my intellect is 7. So,
Success.
how about that?
Well done, Sybil. You definitely remember that the large banquet you found, or you remember? Or just the large gathering was not in the dark area off to your left, but it was somewhere past that. You remember you passed through there you passed through this entranceway into that area, and
Okay.
you'd wondered, like you'd talk to people about what was down the hallway off to the right.
Mhm.
But you remember passing over a very lovely mosaic floor. Like this area was lit when you came down here. And the mosaic was intricate.
And Salazar, how do you sense magic again? I forget.
Sorry, yeah, me too. It doesn't smell as strongly to me as it does to you. I think it was more of just like a buzzing kind of sixth sense sort of thing.
Do you have to extend your tongue?
Yes, I absolutely have to extend my tongue.
It's partially tactile and partially scent and somewhat like taste, but it's all three of those at once. They're not like separable.
Great.
At least not like cognitively separable. You'd have to sort of master a whole lot of things to sort out the distinct areas. The weird sort of substance that's sort of growing on the walls, the moldy substance.
Okay.
That looks sort of like honeycomb.
Mm-hmm.
That tastes like a type of magic. I mean, you get the background magic of the undercity. You know, the people who built the undercity knew more about magic had forgotten more about magic than most modern people know. But there's something sort of innately magical, not like corrupted or tainted, but just sort of innately magical about whatever is growing on the wall.
Can I go collect some?
Yeah.
I will try to collect some. I will put it next to my weird ant bile or whatever that stuff was. In a separate container, in theory.
Right.
Corpse ant crystal nectar. Yeah, I've been dragging that around. What would I honeycomb stuff? We'll call that.
Yeah, it's kind of spongy to the taste. I mean, to the taste, to the touch. And it, as soon as you it's almost like touching a dry. It's almost like touching a wet sponge, but it's not wet.
Okay.
But like when you push on it, it sort of like easily comes back.
Okay.
Like it seems like it's going to be like it's soft, but the kind of thing that would be tough.
Like Nerf.
Yeah. Yeah. Not something that would be easily ripped. And as soon as you press on it, you get like a little whiff of spores when you press on it, and they smell like, you'd swear, like saffron and vanilla together. Not two spices you associate with each other, but that is a smell that you can't place right away, Sibel, but definitely is very, very familiar to you.
I feel like that came up in the last session.
Yeah, I think there was a faint smell
Yeah,
of
that's
saffron
right.
and vanilla
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
around.
Also, the mosaic tiles that you mentioned a while ago were mentioned last session as well. Now that I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything
So
else?
what's that?
Anything like? Tell me anything else you want to look at or check out.
I feel like Sibel is gonna start moving down that hallway. As soon as she kind of gets the sense that that's the way that she remembers.
Right.
Sybil, are you communicating that you have some memory of this to us? Like, what's the what?
Yeah, I think
Like, how
I
much
think
do we?
she's explained that she's got these memories. I think she probably has to fill you in a little bit because she's told the others in the past about, I've got these memories that I can never quite remember, and because it was connected with the book and everything. And she's explained to everyone, that we're following her memory to find that door. And so I think at this particular moment, though, I think all she's saying is, I think it's this way, and just kind of stalking off down that tunnel.
I'll follow behind. I'm not gonna cast, I guess. Do I want to cast the fucking Shadow Cloak again, even though I failed casting it a little while ago? I don't think that's fair. Richard, you made it.
Let's say that's still active because
Oh, it wasn't. I failed it last time.
Okay.
I tried casting it. So I'm like,
up to you.
all right, I will attempt to cast it again at power level 2. Before I forget to mention that, and submit. That is 15, and that is above my willpower. So no.
But not critically. Not critically bad.
Not critically bad. It's almost a critical good, but by 1.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I know, right?
But you evaded any spell mishaps, so
Yeah.
which I'm sure all your friends are happy for.
Yeah.
All right. Sybil, you're moving towards that door with your lantern in one hand. Are you carrying a weapon or anything in your other hand, or?
Yeah, I think this whole time she's had her machete out in the other hand. Right. Ever since using it to poke at the jacket full of the baby rats, she's just kind of kept it, kind of hanging loosely by her side, but out of the sheath.
And as Sybil heads this way, that residual background magic gets slightly stronger in kind of unspecified, hard to pinpoint ways. Salazar. And 1 second. Sibel, you get there, and as you noted before, the doors close. It seems to be a combination of probably wood and metal, but it's sort of decorated with bronze features to sort of make it look like a bronze door from a distance, or something woodish. But it's clearly highly decorated.
So if I test the handle, is it locked?
It does not move.
Okay. So I will.
And the handle is really just something you apply pressure to. It's not like turning or anything like that. It's an antique door.
Mm-hmm.
It's the handle is just there to sort of like help you direct pressure on it.
Is there a keyhole?
Yes, there is.
Okay, because I have a mysterious key.
Oh, that's very true. You do have a mysterious key.
And I feel like...
Where did you find that mysterious key?
I had it with me when I came back from the accident where I acquired these memories.
Right.
Strangely new looking key. So...
do you want to try that?
I would.
It works.
Okay.
It seems perfectly fitted to the door, even though it's a very new looking key and a very old looking door. Almost as if somebody recently cast it. And recently is in the last 10 years, not in the, as opposed to the last few centuries.
Right. So
go ahead.
I was going to say, so it fits in. Does it turn? And
you feel the click. You are able to apply some pressure and get whatever is bolting it out of the way. And then, do you want to open that door?
Yeah, I think I'll pause just before I do. Once it clicks over and I can tell the door's opened, I'll kind of turn back to everyone else and be like, "Well, here goes."
Can I level my pistol at the doorway as she pushes it open, in case something comes through that we don't want to see?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, and I think when I do it, I like push it open, but also kind of take a step back, and I think I have my machete like under my armpit of my other arm while I was holding the lantern. So, like push it and then grab the machete and take a step back until we can see what's on the other side.
You do. And as soon as your lantern light hits sort of the inside, as the door very loudly sort of creaks open, you see what look like people standing along the walls of this chamber with a thin glow sort of coming from their faces. And then you realize none of them are moving.
Like similar to the glow from the honeycomb fungus?
No. The glow from the honeycomb fungus was just from to Salazar from
Oh, got it. It was not actually.
yeah, it was not actually glowing. It was phosphorescent. And the taste of magic Salazar is getting weirdly stronger.
Like as the doors opened?
Yeah. And all the bodies along these walls are desiccated. Sibel.
Yeah, I think I turn to Salazar and Jabril and just kind of like, magic people, this might be your department.
These are really old corpses, right? Like they're
They
not like
are
recent.
indeed very, very desiccated, and they're standing.
All right.
I'm going to bring some wall sponge nerf over toward them.
Okay.
And maybe I'll wave one under a corpse nose. See if it looks like it's hungry or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
No response there.
Great. I'll put a little in its mouth just to be, just to be thorough.
As soon as you do, you find the source of that glow on their faces is a gemstone.
Oh.
Glowing with sort of an inner light.
Oh.
I want to test something.
Sure thing.
I'm gonna cast Animate Dead on one of them to see if they were like, if it doesn't work, it might mean that they were already animated, and the second spell just wouldn't have any effect on them.
Right. Okay.
So I am going to test at power level 1, Animate Dead. And that's a 5, so I succeed.
And if they've been animated before, you're not able to animate them again, right?
Yeah, like that's my theory, at least. Like, my theory is that if they are already technically if they are already animated, then my spell wouldn't do anything because they're already like undead.
Right.
Meaning not if they've been animated in the past, if they are currently animated.
Correct. I'm just afraid that we might have a zombie horde after us if we proceed, which is why I'm casting the spell.
All right.
Well, it's going to be awkward if you have to talk to this guy,
Yeah. I think they would be mindless undead if I do end up animating one of them, because it's like power level equal to HD, so I just have an HD 1 zombie that can try to escape my command by rolling over a 14. So
All right.
And if they do animate, we can just deal with one zombie, and that's fine.
Yeah, they probably won't even really be able to talk to us anyway with those gems, I assume, in their mouths.
So you've got one of them, correct? For power level 1, you animate one.
I just touch one, and yeah.
It raises its head and opens its mouth with the gemstone inside it glowing, and sort of pivots so its ear is sort of pointed towards you as if waiting for your commands.
Can you speak?
It cannot. You know that.
Okay.
Especially with they're not very intelligent, and also if they're
yeah. All right. Show me where Paprika is. I tell it. If it I'm gonna assume that if it doesn't know what that means, then whatever. But if it does, then better for us.
Make a luck check.
Oh boy, a luck check. Let me actually fail that again. Yeah, I fail.
Okay. It sort of turns around and looks at you, and then turns around again and looks at you, and then points its ear towards you. And then turns around a few more times.
All right. Follow us. I guess. I guess that's my next command. Follow us.
So there's the door you came in. There's a door at the far end of this space. There's some crypts that are laying sealed tight along the walls. And there's these desiccated bodies, one of which is now following you. What are all of you doing?
I guess as of session 1, we're already grave robbers, so might as well commit to it. We'll take a glowing gem out of one of their mouths just in case it's useful later.
It looks like now that it's out of their mouths, it looks like it would be like a little less light than a lantern, but also can't be turned over and used to set fire to things.
All right, yeah, I'm going to take one too, and I want to like.
Also, slightly easier to dim with just your hand.
Right. I kind of just want to like scrutinize it and get a sense like this is maybe like. Is there like does it seem like there's like a light source on the inside? Is it like evenly that's like emanating out? Is it like the light like sort of like evenly distributed throughout the thing?
It does seem to come from within, and it does seem to be fairly distributed.
All right, I pocket it.
So both you and Salazar have one of these gems, correct?
I'm just gonna use my zombie as a as the lantern in that case.
Right.
Can I like search any of the bodies also, like to sort of see if there's anything else on them,
other than some fairly ornate clothes. Let me check something real quick for you. You can make an intellect check there.
Yes, I will check my intellect, my fairly dim intellect. See what happens.
It's average.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. And that is a 16. Fail.
There's something about these clothes that you're just like, they're nice, but you can't quite pinpoint what it is. And there's the sarcophagi along the wall.
And the sarcophagi are empty?
No, they're sealed.
They're sealed. I look over to everybody. Anyone want to help me crack one of these open?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Since we're already in the business of doing that, yes.
Like we're here, we might as well see what's what, right?
There is. I won't make it roll for anything. You're all equipped for grave robbing, for cracking open sarcophagi, archaeology, whatever you want to call it.
Grave robbing.
I like that. Archaeology.
Antiquarianism, whichever.
Right. That was my character in the last game I played with you, I think. Now I'm just a grave robber.
So you'll pop the lid or the top off a sarcophagus, and it's sealed in such a way that suggests it's been there for a while, but it's not ancient. It's you're talking centuries and not millennia. Mm-hmm. So, and there's super wealthy, well-dressed figures there, though most of the jewelry on them is costume jewelry.
Do I So, like, as kind of a nobleman of the city, like, do I recognize any like house heraldry or anything like that?
You can make a luck. Well, no, I don't think you need to make a luck check. I think yeah, you recognize the pieces, but not the house. Like it's all common heraldic elements,
Mm-hmm.
and they're simpler than what you have now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is still the custom that you want people to look nice when you bury them, but you don't want to give them the expensive stuff.
Got it. So this is like recognizably sort of like the dead of Pentola to me, of
Right.
the upper class of Pentola.
Right. The clothes are really nice. The jewelry is costume because you're not gonna.
Right. Like, you give the good stuff goes to the grandma's good stuff goes to the descendants, not to the grave.
Right. And yeah, so it's dusky and mildewed, but it looks like the cloth was once fairly colorful. It is interesting to you that you don't recognize the specific house or anything. So maybe this is a forgotten house or something like that. But otherwise it's someone in robes who's dead.
Got it. Cool.
I'm starting to think this might not help us find anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it was going to help us to begin with, other than maybe asking the zombie, but that didn't work, so.
Who knows where this alchemist hides their secrets?
I think Sibel is by the next door, kind of waiting impatiently while you are all inspecting the sarcophagus, because I assume her memory is telling her that we still have farther to go till the place that I remember that banquet and stuff. Yeah, so she's just kind of standing there with her lantern by the far door, kind of waiting for everyone else to get a move on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have my zombie in front of me, being the lantern and also the meat shield. So.
Yeah, why don't we send the zombie on first of all of us?
Yeah, exactly. He already has a lantern, as established by the glow stone thing.
You also notice on this that in addition to the clothes, Asmus, like there's this sort of dark cloth-like kind of up these otherwise. I mean, you expect the colors to fade and then sort of go black anyway, especially in a mildewy space like this. But there seems to be like almost solid bits of dark, kind of growing along the edge and even sort of connecting the cloth to the skin in some points or to the bone in some points.
I am pocket. I pocket my pistol and pull my utility knife and kind of poke at it with the utility knife.
You've never known it to grow in such a grisly space, but Asmus, as soon as you whittle at it, it becomes very the mellow, bitter, oily, rich. I mean, rich is just the only good word for it. Seasoning taste is almost on your tongue, and you know you're tasting crevice cloak, or it just in the air.
What is crevice cloak?
It is a very, very fashionable substance that's sort of dissolved into water or cream or sometimes a spirit, and then sweetened, and then some people add spices to it, and it's got this sort of lovely bitter sweet taste that we would think of as being like chocolate. It is not cheap. And the various houses who grow crevice cloak commercially guard their growing secrets pretty tightly.
Mm-hmm.
But there is not a household in the wealthy part of Pentola who would not be known to drink crevice cloak.
Mm-hmm. So I think I communicate. I think I say, apparently, someone's got a little crevice cloak farm down here.
I mean, this is inside the tomb that was sealed, so it may just be.
This is its natural sort of way of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I say. So I mentioned we may have discovered what kind of soil crevice cloak grows in.
Well, we are looking for an alchemist, right?
If he planted this crop, it was a long time ago.
I shrug. I shrug.
Yeah, I guess Sibel's waiting. Let's.
Sibel, are you wanting to go back out the door you came in, or do you want to try this door towards the south, for the lack of a better direction, the south end of the room?
You come back here later to
yeah, the south door, like continuing to progress onward.
The south door you can actually turn from the inside, the bolt, and then just kind of force it open. And as soon as you do, you realize this is another area you pass through. Because you recognize the smell first. It's got a very fresh, green, sharp taste, almost or smell to it, almost like mint, or maybe oregano. And you see the weird, almost upside down looking mushrooms with the caps that sort of curve upward instead of downward, as if they're trying to catch liquid. People call them goblet mushrooms. And you remember seeing them before where they were uniquely large. And as you open the door, you come down kind of a small flight of stairs into this sunken area. And you remember the room because you went up a large flight of stairs. There were not this many of this mushroom growing in this room when you were last here, but it was uniquely kind of robust smell. And even now it's even more robust. Though some of them seem to have been plucked.
Okay. So are goblet, are they edible? What's
You remember them? You remember eating things that tasted like this. And there's sort of a viscous blue liquid in the center.
Well, I think as bad as of an idea as it usually is to eat random mushrooms, I think I'm gonna pick one and sniff it closely.
Let me sniff it. I have detect magic as a sniff.
I'm imagining you just kind of like grab it from my hand. And
Yeah, I
so,
will.
be careful.
And I sniff it instead. Yes, exactly.
It's got that same, and I'm not even make you roll for it. It's got that same sort of low magical scent that all the other all the other fungi have had.
Good. I rolled a 2.
Oh, good. Okay. Ask me 2 questions.
Does it seem like someone is growing these intentionally to harvest?
Yeah, they look like they were sort of naturally occurring, but they're starting to form up into rows. And it seems like there's like bits of paper and old wood and things that look like wood but don't quite have the texture of it that are sort of being laid down to serve as rooting material.
Second question being, where is there can I trace the underlying scent of whoever is harvesting this back to the source?
Not well.
Like,
Yeah, you think that, and Sibel, you see the stairs up, and you know those stairs up are where the banquet was. Um,
wait, so do we go downstairs or are we?
you went down a slight stairs to get into this chamber,
And then there's
and then
another
the
set of
opposite
stairs?
direction. There's a set of
Okay.
stairs going up.
Okay, makes sense.
And you get the sense that that's where they go. Sybil, you also know that that's whenever you came down here with the others, and you can't even put faces to who these others were, that you get a sense they were workers with you. You went up those stairs.
I give the mushroom back to Sibel.
Though, and this is not part of the magic, all of you are starting to smell this now. There's a faint smell of something a little like sulfur. It does not have that rotten burning egg smell because it doesn't have that sort of that organic component to it, but it has a faint sulfurous acidic scent coming from that room, which you do not remember being there before, Sybil.
I hand the mushroom back to Sibel. Should we continue?
Yeah, I think what we're looking for is going to be at the top of those stairs. I have a feeling.
Sybil, were you going to bite that mushroom?
No, I was just going to sniff
No.
it. I don't think anyone was going to bite it.
Yeah, since Jabril took over the mushroom inspecting duties, I'm just going to toss it back on the floor.
Okay.
And then
a little bit of that blue liquid in the middle, sort of, it's very viscous, sort of splashes out onto the floor. And it, like when I said minty, I was thinking like a kind of a soft minty smell, like chocolate mint or one of those very gentle mints. But as soon as that bluish liquid hits the floor, it's like wintergreen. It's not like actual wintergreen. It's like somebody badly flavored, like chewing gum, like wintergreen. It's like that intense over the top peppermintiness, like Dr. Bonner's but concentrated on the floor. And are y'all headed up the stairs now, or is anybody else going to do anything in this room?
I think we're all going upstairs. Zombie first.
And again, this is not like a big flight of stairs. This is not a big flight of stairs. This is a like there's a little bit of a sink to get to this area, and then about like 4 maybe 5 feet of stairs just to get up to that next one. And Sibel, you remember this space. Most of this is like a little bit between carved out room and just sort of rough hewn cavern. Is kind of the different spaces you've been moving through. There's certainly varying degrees of finish. You remember the area you didn't go to when you passed through that the first time. There was a really nice mosaic floor, and you think you saw the edge of that as you kind of passed by in your lantern light. But this area, if there was ever a mosaic floor here, it's been turned up to sort of make a nesting bed for fungi, shrooms. And at the top of the stairs, there is a closed door. And you're sending the zombie up first.
Well, in front of everyone, so if someone attacks us, then
Right.
it attacks the zombie first.
Yeah, the zombie hits the door and you hear something like cluelessly, like just walks into it, and there's a loud thwack. And you hear a crack sound. And the door sort of gives slightly.
Train my pistol on the door.
And then the zombie holds still, waiting for another order since it hit the door and sort of stopped. If this were a living person, you'd be like, it hit it hard enough that almost like if you've ever seen a child not see a glass door and run straight into like a clear door or a plastic door.
Oh yeah.
And then be brought up fast by not knowing that glass door was closed. It hit it like that.
Yeah. All right. I'm guessing. Does anyone else want to prepare, or should we have this zombie open the door? Does he even know how to open doors?
And he just knows how to walk forward.
Okay. Sibel, since you're the tough, maybe you should open the door.
Yeah, I was just thinking I'm gonna like kind of reach around where the zombie's standing and open the door.
As soon as you do, it was getting a little thicker. It's definitely something you did not smell when you were here before, is that acidic, slightly smoky, sulfurous smell. Again, not the boiled eggs smell of like organic sulfur, but like a and not quite a natural gas smell, more of like an intense mining sulfur or burning sulfur. A brimstone smell might be a good way to describe it. And the light goes into the room, and you see that the furnishings you remember being in this room are largely gone. But there are several large cracks in the floor. And that seems to be where this sort of this vapory, smoky smell seems to be coming from. And more of that sort of like flat, clothy fungus that you noticed in the tomb is sort of like where it seemed to be just kind of in pieces in the tomb. It is here growing rather rapidly. And that in addition now, that sort of bitter, delicious, enticing smell of the corpse cloak, that chocolatey, that unsweetened chocolatey smell is sort of bubbling up towards you. And The room has a soft glow to it that seems to be coming from certain sort of phosphorescent fungi sort of growing on the wall. Um, and it's almost odd that the room is not steamy or smoky, but you can sort of see the steamy, smoky heat coming out of those cracks in the floor. But it's not like filling the room. It's not like there's smoke or steam. And this is the big ornate room you remember, Sibel. And sorry, I just wanted to get this detail in. And then that sort of glowing light, sort of along the door you came in is sort of along the back wall of the room, which kind of goes towards sort of a nice old dais towards the front. But along that back wall further, there is another door that leads off to your left. Or another closed door that will lead off towards your left. And then, sorry, Asmus, what were you about to say?
I kind of like get down on one knee and take my utility knife and kind of like worry it into one of the cracks on the floor.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of want to see like, does it go anywhere? Or is it just like what's?
Oh, the cracks are giant. Like they're very large. They're not blocking your way to. They're not blocking your way to the far side necessarily, but it's definitely difficult to kind of climb over the rocks they've upturned to get to the far side.
Got it.
They are, but yeah, they're not small cracks. They're several feet across.
Got it. And like, so I go over to the edge of one and kind of look down.
It's craggy and cracked. It's hard to like see all the way down just because of it's uneven and cracky. But you can feel heat radiating out of it, and you definitely see like something like smoke or steam coming out of it. Something sort of cloud-like, but it's not filling the room.
Right. I pull out that glowing gem I took from the corpse's mouth, and I kind of drop it down the crevice to see how far it will go and what I can see.
You see it kind of bounce around and go kind of down over a series of sort of interconnected ledges before you lose sight of it, and you hear it clanking for a good bit after that.
I'm very curious what's down there. I say to the rest of the party.
You can make an intellect check.
Yeah, I would like to do that. Unfortunately, I don't think my concept or any of my various things that I can do will help me with that. But where's the roll for your party? That's a 7 success underneath an 11.
You suspect that there's sort of those underground steam caves and underground geysers and heat sinks, and even some say that far down there's magma. You suspect that heat is coming up from that same sort of location.
And just like those that there's rumors about this under the city to begin with.
Yeah. People. I mean, it's not even rumors. People have documented that there's guys in steam caves and things like that further down. And you're guessing that's where the heat would be radiating up from.
Got it.
And it is significant. It's damp as it's been everywhere. It is significantly more humid in here. You think with heat coming in, it might feel dry, but instead this seems to be a very, very damp heat, sort of radiating up through.
So I remember that banquet in this room.
Yeah.
Do I remember anything beyond that in this underground space, or is this kind of the farthest that my memories go?
You remember either that door wasn't there, the one that's back along that wall, or it was covered by something. It was an ornately decorated room, so maybe you just didn't see it, or maybe it was more secret, or maybe it was covered by a tapestry. And now that you look at it, it looks like wherever this this I just said the wrong thing. This crevice cloak seems to be all on top of old tapestry. Like it's all covered now. But you can see like the threads of an old tapestry sort of peeking through.
Is there any like what remains of the old tapestry? Can we get a sense of what the design was, or is it too degraded for that?
No, it's way too degraded.
Also, what was the meaningfulness of the banquet? Because I don't remember from last session other than maybe I was the one who asked.
That's something that Sibel remembers.
Yeah. Oh, it's just she remembers a banquet, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense. Wanted to make sure what the context was of the banquet, and that we know the information we know.
Sibel, review for the audience at home a little about your missing memories, or about your hiding forbidden knowledge. What was that? Did you just have missing time, or did you always have the sense that you knew more than you were supposed to know, or did it start at a specific point in time?
So it started when there was that blow up at the oil field. So there was some sort of equipment jam, and I got sent down to fix it in a way that, you know, if this world had OSHA would be really upset about. But it would, you know, get stuff moving quicker than having to like shut everything down to fix it the right way. And something went wrong. There was some kind of a, you know, explosion, and I, you know, blacked out for a while. So I got injured pretty badly, and when I, you know, finally came back around, I had that key on me, and I had this feeling that I had had some sort of experience or some sort of memories from that period. You know, because it'd be easy enough to be like, oh, well, that time's missing because I blacked out after my accident, and I was, you know, recovering in, you know, a hospital bed somewhere. But I had this feeling like there was something I could remember from that time, and it was always just like on the tip of my tongue, and I couldn't quite articulate what it was until I saw that secret door when we were meeting with the suzerain, and then, you know, that was the first clear piece of memory that I recovered from that.
You also know that shortly after your sort of accident, that essentially the well ran dry.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
Yeah,
unexpected.
and so,
I mean, there's we're at a kind of a early 20th century level of technology, so it's not like we have like good understanding of when you're hitting the bottom of a well. But essentially the field that was near Pentola ran dry shortly after that.
Yeah, ended up out of work.
With lots of people out of work, and took to scavenging or salvaging history from the tombs below the city. And you remember Sibel. Two things that you spend a lot of time talking in this room. And to one particular person. Like you remember other people being there and saying things to them, but you don't remember who they were specifically. You had this kind of vague impression they were other people from the oil field. But the person you really remember speaking to is this sort of ruddy-haired person who had lots of questions about what you saw far below the city. And Asmus, Salazar, Sibel is having these memories, and Jabril too. Go ahead and make intellect checks, all three of you.
Oh boy, intellect checks. That is a critical success.
Nice. What about Asmus and Salazar?
I rolled a 1. Is that a crit in this game, or is it like the white hack where it's like
white hack? Like,
got it.
Yeah.
Like white hack. Oh yeah, so never mind. So it's a 1. I passed.
Nice. Salazar?
You said intellect, didn't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I definitely rolled 1 over my intellect. So, well, not so much.
What are you kind of focusing on right now, Salazar?
Nothing in particular. Just kind of looking back and forth between everyone and their exploration and such, and just kind of. I mean, I don't really have like memories of this place, so it's a lot of watching other people remember things, basically. Trying to get a sense of like what's going on between them.
So I think you've sort of looked around, and then you're looking back at Sibel. And Jabril, you see something moving you think is a person. Maybe more than one, sort of behind some of these glowing phosphorescent mushrooms, closer to the wall. And Asmus, you recognize 3 people. One of them is Jens. And they're about to train guns, or they're about to bring guns to bear on your group.
I mean, I think without even...
You also, both of you can see... Sorry, you can just see them about to bring guns to bear on your group. Jabril, you can see that Sibel and Salazar aren't seeing them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second I see Jens, I just pull my pistol and pull the trigger.
1 second.
Aim.
I will cast Shadow Cloak to make myself able to hide in plain sight.
All right. Give me 1 moment.
I love that. You can see that they're pointing guns at your friends. Well, I'll make myself less of a target then.
Shadow Cloak. Make that Shadow Cloak check. And then, Asmus, I'll ask you to make that shoot.
And I would like to. Sorry, I'll let Gabriel do his thing first, and then.
Okay. Jabril, you first.
I forgot I was muted. That's a success, and I will be able to hide whenever you let me make my hide. But I have that up.
All right.
So in addition, I have That's an Easy Target, which lets me have the benefit of someone aiming for a full round if I forego my movement.
Nice.
I'm not planning on moving. But what's the... I don't know what the benefit of taking a round to aim is.
We're going to give you advantage.
Great. I will roll a second die. Assuming I can remember what tab I put this in. So that's another d20. 1. Submit. And then...
That's not a d20.
That was not a d20. That was I don't know, what a d24 maybe? I don't know what that was. Let's try again. That's a 20. So that's pretty bad, but let's try the other die. That's an 8, which is much better. Is it am I rolling with agility there?
Yep, you're rolling with agility.
That passes.
Nice. Why don't you roll your damage?
All right, it's d6 minus 1 because it's a small pistol that's easily concealable.
Okay.
So that is a 3. 4 minus 1.
1 moment. Okay. You graze Gen's shoulder arm. He does not go down, but he sort of pulls back. Just as those other 2 guns go off, pointed at Salazar and Sibel. I think hitting both of you. So, do either of you have any armor on, or do we do any? I don't think so. So I'm going to go with
They both have medium armor.
Okay.
Yeah, my agility stinks. I figured why not wear the armor that caps my agility.
Okay. Salazar, you're taking 3 damage minus your armor. I think that's 2, so down to 1. Correct?
Correct.
You are taking 6 minus your armor, which should take it down to 4.
Damn, good thing Sibel was the tough, because, wow.
Oh, yeah. Now, everybody's looking at everybody else, and like, everybody just to make a dexterity check. No difficulty score. Just tell me, or an agility check. Just tell me whether you pass or fail that agility check.
Fail.
Critical success.
Question. Before, so I have this second profession, which is dancer.
I think we'll count that. I think we'll count that.
So I'm going to roll that second one, and maybe that one will pass. It is a 10. It just... Oh, is that a crit?
Yes,
yes,
it is a crit.
That is a crit.
Sibel, how did you do on that? agility check.
I think it was 2 fails and 2 critical successes.
Yeah, I failed bad.
So for that, I'm going to let you go absolutely first and add advantage on your first action there, Asmus.
Great. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna shout something like, "Jens, you son of a bitch, always getting yourself mixed up in schemes that are more than you can handle." And then I'm going to I think I'm gonna fire at him again.
Fire.
And after that shot, I'm gonna try and like move behind cover.
Nice. Okay.
Given that I already have advantage, it doesn't seem worth it to take the time to aim.
Right.
That's a 1.
Nice. Roll your damage.
That's a 2.
All right.
How does ammunition work in this game?
I'm just counting down for revolver.
6 or 8? 6 probably.
We'll do 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small revolver, so
yeah, it's concealable for sure.
Let's.
Mine is a heavier gun, but it's still a gun. But usually I don't even use that, so.
Yeah, so I think I try to position myself behind, like you said, the cracks are kind of like craggy. Can I like get myself behind one of like the raised edge of the cracks position between me, between me and Jens and whoever his associate is?
I'll treat that as giving you an extra point of armor.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to crouch down there, but and keep it low to the ground, but definitely getting dust and dirt over things you're wearing. But
it's only my third best clothes. It's fine.
It does give you some cover. So they can't see Jabriel.
Salazar's turn. He also critically succeeded.
Oh, nice. Salazar. Sorry. You're muted there.
Who hit me?
One of the lackeys.
I would like to put that lackey to sleep.
Why don't
Just
you
put everyone to sleep.
I can only do it if they're clustered together, and I get the impression.
They're pretty close to each other. They're not. They were all crouched behind some sort of rock and mushroom.
All right. Well, I can.
If I'd been thinking about the sleep spell, I would have broken them apart, but I was not.
All right. Well, then I'll put as many to sleep as I can. What's their combined hit dice?
4.
Okay, so it's going to cost me 2 hit points, and I'll have a difficulty of 4. Now I re-roll.
Actually, you have a difficulty of 4. So
doesn't it cost 2 hit points because you're level 2?
Yeah, is that not what I said?
And then your
I thought you said it costs 4. Whatever. I'm a dummy.
No. I rolled a 10.
Also, your difficulty is only 2. So, and is that critical?
No, it is not a critical.
All right. So you're putting all 3 of them to sleep?
As best I can, yeah.
Nice. You don't need to roll anything additional for that, or do they? What is it? Read me that description there.
Yeah, it is.
It can be resisted with willpower. It says
it can be resisted. Yes, targets clustered in an area with up to power level hit dice fall asleep for power level turns. So we're looking at a total of
40 minutes.
4 hit dice worth of people for 4 turns.
1 second.
Oh yeah, a turn is 10 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes of them sleeping.
That's great.
Turns are hilarious.
The The two sort of lackeys that, or at least the people Asmus assumes are lackeys, the people that he does not recognize, immediately sort of like collapse, like they've just sort of fallen asleep on their feet. It's not like fainting and more just like sort of rolling forward out of sheer exhaustion. Yin's is still standing. And is going to bring his weapon to bear on. Well, it's going to have to be Asmus. Sorry, Asmus.
I did just insult him directly.
Yeah, I mean, he's also, related to you by marriage, and that, in Pentola, that never. He does beat your agility, hitting you.
Okay.
So
I guess I have 2 armor with my 1 armor and then the cover.
you're taking 4.
I should have
reduced 2.
all right, I'll save that for next time. So sorry, how much damage is that total?
2 total damage, as it sort of it doesn't really hit you so much, just knock chips of rock into you.
Got it. I have to remember I have a thing that lets me force them to roll at disadvantage a number of times equal to my level. So I just want to remember I have that option in the future.
Do you want to make me do that now?
No, that's fine. I'll take the 2 damage. I don't.
Okay. And then Sibel, they caught you by surprise. And you're sitting there with your machete and your lantern. 2 of them have sort of rolled forward asleep. You suspect the work of Salazar, but one of them is still standing there and just shot Asmus. What are you doing?
How close am I to...
Close enough to walk over.
Okay. So, and there's not like cracks and stuff in the way.
No. I mean, there's cracks in the floor, but not keeping you from them.
So I think my obvious reaction is going to be to run towards him and take a swing with my machete.
Why don't you make a physique check?
Yeah. So it's 11. I gotta beat it. Okay. I did not make it.
All right. Gabriel, you cannot be seen.
I'm gonna stick behind him with the intent of grabbing him and doing bad things to him with my
what
hands.
bad things are you doing?
Sorry?
What bad things are you doing?
Fucking what's the damaging touch? But I'm gonna sneak behind him first.
Yeah.
So
you don't need to roll anything to sneak behind him. He can't see you, and he's got a tough person who just walked up to him and tried to hit him with a machete, which is sort of his where his attention is right now.
Yay! So my hip succeeds without rolling. That is good. Do I get advantage on my attack roll then?
Yeah.
All right, cool beans. I need to let me see how much my willpower is. First of all, I'm gonna do power level 2, and I'm gonna need to roll 1 more die because that would be 15. Can I do power in the blood? There's power in blood after I rolled.
How does that work? What is that?
I can spend points of physique or agility to add that to my willpower for the effects of spellcasting.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
In that case, I spend 1, so it critically succeeds.
Nice. Roll. I don't think it'll be a critical because otherwise you can
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least it will be a success. I will spend 1 from my physique. So my physique is now 11 for the time being.
right?
Freaking 2d6 plus 1, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah. Let me roll this. 5 plus submit 4. So 11 points of damage.
You're just draining the life out of him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He withers into a husk and collapses at your feet. On top of sort of a phosphorescent mushroom. So he's sort of like quasi glowing in the oozing spores of that mushroom sort of spread out over him. As the bitter smell of deadly magic sort of mixes with this rich chocolatey smell of the fungus in the room. And let's go to a 14-minute break and be back at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight or Atlantic Standard Time.
So, quick recap of what's going on in chat. I was posting on Twitter about damaging touch, and I got rules clarification from Diogo saying that you have to roll to cast a spell and then roll to hit. And I did, and I still succeed. So, yeah. Because that spell just seems too powerful in my opinion, but like, oh well.
What's the fail state? Like, what's the risk?
I'm guessing it's the chance of rolling a 2.
Well, you cast once to see if you get like a miscast on the spell,
Yeah.
and then the spell's effect is immediately making a melee attack. So
With an advantage on top of that.
right. So and you can fail both times basically,
Yeah.
or either time, I suppose.
But it's also really powerful because you deal damage as an HD 8 monster with just a power level of 2, which is why I was like, oh hey, fuck.
I mean, I'm glad you did it. If you hadn't, I was going to walk over and try and gain corruption just to bite the guy.
Oh my god. Like, I guess that's why. Oh, by the way,
So to be clear, you murdered my brother-in-law.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say you can thank me later as soon as we got back in.
So we're gonna have to tell my brother. I'm gonna have to tell my brother that I found him here, but that's okay. He's very naive.
Yeah, he was withered like by some eldritch force. Who can even say?
There's all of these other withered corpses around.
Yeah, I mean, there's he was.
Richard, you're muted.
He was lying on a glowing mushroom. Who knows?
2 sleeping people right here.
Yeah, right. Like it was really weird.
Can we slap one of them awake and see if they'll take us to Paprika? We do seem to have averted this particular meeting.
I'm gonna vote we tie them up, like around the wrists at least.
Well, we don't know if they already met. That's what we have to figure out.
So tie them up, slap one of them awake, and see what they can tell us.
All right, cool. We'll tie them up.
I mean, if our goal was to prevent Jens from doing a deal,
we don't know if the deal was already made, though. That's what we want to find out.
Yeah, I guess. I was going to say, he can't execute his end of the deal anymore.
I mean, yeah, he's dead, but like...
it was already executed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I had a brief moment where I was just like, look, I can pretend to be Jens. And I'm like, you know what? Dead Jens lying on the floor might actually be a pretty good bargaining chip.
I mean, to be fair, we already tried that once and it worked, so...
Yeah.
We can try again.
Yeah. Your
buddy's dead. We can also have a more straightforward, like, I'm his brother-in-law, and maybe play that.
Oh, don't mind him being dead. But we're still related by marriage to him. Please tell us.
I don't know what the hell happened. He just started firing at me.
Even though you did insult him, right?
Oh wait, that's fair. That's fair. I forgot. It just comes so naturally out of my mouth. He is such a shit.
It was.
I mean, it's not like shooting people is a reasonable response to getting.
Yeah, that's true.
Insulted.
That's a valid point.
I'm pretty sure I've said meaner things than that to my in-laws, and I've never been shot.
I mean, I did shoot first. That's the other.
There was that.
There was the. I saw him. I shot him, and I insulted him.
Salazar and Sibel, both of you make me a willpower check.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I'm good. Got it.
Sibel, how did you do?
How did I do?
Sibel, sorry. That's for Sibel.
Sorry.
No, I got it. Sorry, it took me a second because I had to switch tabs, but yeah,
That's okay.
I got it.
As we wait 40 minutes for these guys to wake up.
You both got it. Both of you, all four of you hear a singing voice. And Sibel, this sounds very... Sibel, you specifically remember at some point during this dinner that you came to, you turned around to talk to somebody and they were just singing this song. In fact, every time in this dinner you turned around to talk to somebody, they were singing this song. Salazar, you remember this is a song that your people use to pull people into like sort of kind of dreaming states.
How's everybody feeling?
I just murdered another guy, so...
And you all four can hear this music now.
I don't mean like emotionally. I mean like, do you hear that music and does it make you feel like you're about to have your consciousness replaced?
Does it?
It's definitely familiar. I've heard that music in this room before.
Does it feel like I'm going to get my soul ripped out? I'm asking the GM.
No. I mean, it's
All
just music to you.
All right.
But it's weird. It's sort of not coming from a space. It's sort of just coming from everywhere. Actually, everybody can make an intellect check. And tell me if you pass it. Criticals won't do much special for you, but congratulations if you get one.
That depends. What's the power level or HD?
Let's just say it's a difficulty of 2.
God damn it! I rolled a 2.
I just failed like a normal roll.
Yeah, I got 13.
I had 18. 18 is a fail.
You can't tell where this is coming from.
I mean, I'm tapping my foot to it for whatever that's worth.
It is definitely oddly, strangely alluring.
We should probably check the door out. You know, the only way forward.
I mean, we don't want to interrogate our...
We have 40 minutes, maybe.
I mean, the spell puts them to sleep. Is there any way to... I mean, you're the...
Zombie, can you watch over these guys while we...
Spellcasters here? Can we, like, you know, like when I'm asleep, I can be woken up.
Like,
Can't slap them, splash them with cold water.
I shrug.
you can wake them up if you want to.
I'm gonna order my zombie to wake them up.
The zombie sort of nudges them with his boot. He's not good at bending over. So he sort of nudges them with his foot.
Some chunk of flesh falls into one's face and awakes him, right? Like...
He's wearing a pricey looking boot, but one that looks like, you know, something a guard would wear in a nice house. Or a staffer would wear.
Is it Lazar's nice boots that are no longer nice?
Well, they're old and they're rather worn down, but they're still sort of like clearly well made. But they're almost uniformish.
Okay, so not Lazar's boots.
Yeah. So that he's kind of like nudging them with the boots, and eventually they start to stir and wake up.
Oh, you meant the zombie has the boots?
Yeah. The zombie has the nicer boots.
Damn. Okay.
Like they're almost like uniform boots.
Alright, cool. I'll guess we'll wait until they fully wake up before questioning them.
Are you doing anything to restrain them as they wake
Oh,
up?
we do. We did, rather. We had rope, right?
Yeah. You do have rope.
And we did say we were restraining them, like, the first thing after Jens died. So I assume they are restrained.
They are restrained, so they're waking up. What do you want to know from them?
If they've seen Paprika, for starters, where we might find Paprika if they have, where they were going if they haven't.
We haven't seen any evidence that anybody's down here. Where's Jens? He owes us money.
Jens was never gonna pay you a dime. He can't keep a gold coin in his pocket for more than 5 minutes. Can't keep a copper in his pocket for more than 20.
He said his husband was well connected and had lots of money.
Oh, there's truth there, but oh.
He said his husband was going to pay us the money he owed us if we did the job.
Can I wanna light my pipe, start smoking it, and offer it to the one who's talking.
Yeah, they're both talking. I mean, they're both sort of reinforcing the same thing. It's just like, I mean, you're gonna have to hold it for them. You've kind of restrained
Yeah,
them.
that's fine. Look, what was the plan? What did he tell you?
So to get him down here, make sure nothing attacked him, no weird animals or shit like that you find down here, and get him back safe, and then we'd all be good. We'd get paid. We get a cut of anything we found, plus family stuff.
To clarify, Richard, like when they came into the room, where did they come from?
They're like point to the door you came in.
Right, so they came in behind us. Okay, yeah. I don't think I realized that.
No. I mean, they didn't come in behind you. They were in the room when you guys came in.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it.
They're just like, we came in that way. We were trying to get through that door right there. It's friggin' locked.
Oh, good. Then our job is done. There's no deal, right? Well, I asked the people tied up.
We couldn't. This is as far as we got, and then you guys got here, and
can we tell if they're being honest? Like, is there any sense of like?
They don't seem to have much motivation to lie to you.
Great. I say, like, to the group, I say we leave them here, then on our way out, let them go and send them home.
With the zombie?
No.
That's what they literally say when they're like, "You want to leave us here?"
Oh no, you don't. You don't get to keep the zombie.
We don't want the zombie.
Yes, that's okay. Fine. Just don't fucking shoot us now if we untie you, because we don't. You already failed at your job, so.
I assume you already took their guns away.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. That's standard procedure.
You didn't have a motivation to leave them with their guns in their hands?
Oh, no.
I would like a free gun.
I mean, free guns are always good, I guess.
I mean, they have some guns. They have some ammo.
I'll take some ammo. Reload.
It's a little big for your little sort of like discreet little society revolver.
Alas. I will not take some ammo.
Is it the right size for my heavy pistol?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I will take the ammo instead.
So you're just going to leave us here guarded by a zombie and hope you survive whatever's beyond that door, and then you're gonna come out and untie
we
us?
actually succeeded on our jobs.
Don't worry, those ropes will they'll dissolve on their own in the next 2 hours.
What are you talking about?
Tell you what. I sort of like look over at the group. I say, no one needs to know we were ever here. Right?
That is true.
Well, not if we're paid. No.
You're not getting paid. You failed. And I promise you, his husband does not want to hear about this.
Salazar, while like tying a piece of fabric around like his bullet wound or whatever, is like, come to think of it though, they're not terrible shots. It might actually be worth bringing them along.
You want a new job?
Sure. What's the pay rate?
I don't fucking know. We have to talk to our employer.
You can keep a percentage of anything that we find.
One of you make a willpower check.
Who has?
I have 14 willpower. Do you want me to make it, Salazar?
Sure.
Yeah, actually, let me make that check. Sorry.
Oh, okay, it makes sense.
Resisted. Makes sense.
Yeah. Like, no, we do not want a job.
Oh, okay then.
All
Then
right.
you can leave.
Like, the other is like, I could use a job.
Well, I'm happy to take that guy, and the other guy we'll see on the way out.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't just leave me here with a zombie.
We're taking the zombie. Don't worry about it.
We offered to pay you for work. You weren't interested. I guess you stay here.
There's no specific payment. I don't even know what there's like, oh, I'm going to talk to my boss about what we can pay you. And then you want me to agree to something? No, I'm just going to sit here. I will sit here.
Great.
Okay.
We have an alchemist to find. We're not here to haggle with idiots.
All right, cool. I'll leave the zombie with the guy who doesn't want to fucking go with us.
Welcome to the team. You'll find that we are a better employer than that shitbag.
Either the guy you tied up or the shit.
The one that paid you. The one that was never gonna pay you.
No, he's now seeing Yen's body.
Oh God.
What happened to Yen?
Don't piss off that zombie.
Okay. Can you leave the zombie here to look after that guy?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm much nicer than a zombie, and I don't want to end up like that. If you get my meaning.
Yeah. Zombie, you go watch the guy who doesn't want to come with us.
The zombie's tongue is sort of just hanging loosely out of it, out of its mummified mouth, wrapped in linen, as it sort of stares down at him.
Make sure he doesn't leave this room until we come back.
So I guess we try to get through that door.
There's a locked door.
Sibel, does the key also work on this door? Well, that's the question. Does it also work here?
Yes, I'll try it.
It does work.
Okay. So kind of same deal as before. Open the door, kind of push it open, take a step back to assess what's on the other side.
It's a long hallway. It cuts to the left. The hallway itself, it's a wide hallway. It's like it's like 15, maybe 20 feet across. There's a small entryway off to the left, and then the whole hallway turns to the left about 20 feet past that. You can see in the dim light in the lantern light.
All
I
right, and then
guess
proceeds down it cautiously, and
since Sibel doesn't probably remember this area, I'm gonna sniff magic to see if I can get a sense of direction. And that is, let me make sure. Sense of disturbance is intellect. Okay. Die fail.
Every time you try to get a sense, it's like you can taste the songs that was being sung.
Oh.
But that's about it. And as you move down this hallway and past that door, the songs are definitely behind you. In the room where the cracks where the feast once was, Sibel, or where you remember the feast being, is definitely where the music was coming from. Everything beyond that it's like it's behind you. Ahead of you is kind of a small passage or tunnel or hallway to the left, and then the whole passage about 20 feet past that just turns to the left. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
My suggestion is hug left wall until we hit something, since we don't have a sense of direction anymore.
Yeah,
sounds good.
That works for me.
I mean, you're well past where the entrance would be, but the hard left would take you back towards the direction of the entrance.
Oh.
Okay, then I guess going to wherever.
Yeah, away from the entrance sounds good. Yeah, hug the
Yes.
wall.
I mean, everything, the two passageways you have go to the left. It's a small one before the whole hallway turns, or just turn to the left with the whole hallway.
So it's just the first alcove then. We'll head to the first one first. And then if we don't find anything in that area, then go to the next one.
One moment. So that first little passageway looks like it opens up to a much larger area. That it has a kind of a silky. No, it's lots of webs. It's not just a cloudy haze. It's lots of friggin' webs. As soon as you get two lanterns on it, you can see there's lots of webs, and there's a weird little glow sort of coming from the back of that cave. And then there's a passageway sorry. Just a weird little glow coming from the back of the cave. That's about all you can see with your lanterns. It's a huge cavern. And then about 20 feet past that, the whole hallway just turns to the left and continues on.
20 feet past the
little narrow thing that goes into this weird cave.
Into a large cavern. Okay.
Yeah. Filled with spider webs.
I'll scout ahead to see if the other turning of left leads to a place that looks less spiderwebby.
Definitely less spiderwebby. It's just the hallway continuing on as far as you can see in the lantern light.
Oh. Do you folks want to go someplace more spiderwebby or more hallway-y? If I
Where?
Here, go ahead.
Please.
I
See, where?
I was gonna say go ahead, but like okay. I mean, at this point, we're just gonna see if we can spot Paprika. I mean, we technically just need to hard confirm that the job is done. So, and like we've soft confirmed it. I so I guess we can just check, and if we don't find Paprika, then we fuck off. So I guess we don't have to put ourselves in trouble by potentially meeting giant spiders. Is my point.
Is there a reason to think the spiders are giant?
No, I'm just extrapolating from spiderweb.
I don't know. My
We're in a-
instinct goes to normal sized spiders.
I don't know. We're in a creepy underground dungeon. I'm
We already see
betting on
flying snakes.
large.
Yeah.
And from the back of that cavern where you saw the spider filled with spider webs, you saw a thin glowing from the far end of it.
Yeah.
Well, not even to the end of it. You could just see it glowing somewhere deep into that cavern.
Do alchemists glow?
Alchemists, as far as you know, do not normally glow, nor do they spin webs in a non-metaphorical sense.
But do spiders glow? They do spin webs.
Not the kind I want to hang out with.
Right.
Like if I were an alchemist, where would I be? And I guess I could be harvesting glowing spiders for whatever makes them glow. But I just feel like this is not necessarily where I'd want to hang out. I guess also, unless they were using glowing spiders to guard wherever they were staying. I'm gonna suggest we take the hallway and see where it takes us, and if it looks like it's a bad direction, we can come back to the glowing spider cave.
Sounds good.
And like I said, we don't need to do a hugely thorough thing if we have the guy saying, "Hey, no deal was made." We just have like the only reason we're doing this, as far as I know, is to make sure that the job is done.
That's fair.
So I guess hallway.
So you continue along that hallway. You see another place off to your left after you take the bend. But when you look in, that's also sort of filled with spiders. It may even be the same cave with just a different entrance to the same cave. Or sorry, not filled with spiders, filled with spider webs. And then about edge, as you get to where that different entrance into another spider web cave thing is, to your left, you can finally see the end of this big long hallway about 50 feet in front of you. And it ends in a door. It's another one that's sort of decorated like the one that you first entered. That's like clearly not made of solid bronze, but decorated so it kind of gives a solid bronze impression from a distance.
I'm gonna try my key on that again.
It actually doesn't even have a keyhole. As soon as you touch it, it sort of turns. It sort of opens.
All right, and open it and head on through.
Um, You open it, and you're in front there, Sibel, right?
Yeah.
You've clearly entered like a central chamber in a crypt of some sort, because there's a very this whole area has some more of that phosphorescent fungi, and there's a very large sarcophagus in the middle of the room. It's large as an ornate, and it has sort of the sarcophagus statue on top with sort of the probably idealized likeness of someone inside. It's a woman in very ornate clothes with her hands folded over her chest. And around that sarcophagus are 4 pillars that are sort of shaped to look like trees filled with songbirds. And you can kind of hear the song as you enter the room. You start to hear the song that you heard in the other room and that you heard in your memories. Kind of coming from both the songbirds and the sarcophagus, but more like just one voice, just like it's coming out of multiple locations.
Are there any exits?
There's one opposite you that you're guessing leads deeper into this sort of crypt, because it's in the same northerly direction as the exit, but it's clearly far away from it. And then there's an exit to the west that would lead you roughly back in the direction of the entrance.
So I think I go over to the sarcophagus. I'm like, well, we've opened one sarcophagus today. Shall we examine this one?
Sure.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
So I'll kind of like grab one end of it, and whoever else can lift the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll grab the other end.
Okay.
This is definitely hard sealed. What are you using to try to open it?
Mm.
I'm gonna spend one of my 6 slots to get like a crowbar.
Okay.
All right. Crowbar.
The person with the best physique can roll that between the help. You can roll it with a positive die or advantage, whichever you want to call it.
That would have been me, but I spent 1 for a spell thing.
Okay.
But that would be. Now we have 3 people with 11 physique. So.
Anybody but me.
Yeah. That is a 2.
Okay. You hear the crack of the seal breaking, and you think you can probably move the lid, but the song is stopped. And anybody who's not Jabril can make an intellect check. Jabril, you're very focused on using this crowbar.
Oh god.
Ooh, crit.
Me too.
Nice. You both notice, in fact, everyone except for Jabril notices that all the birds, and you can't remember where they were sort of focused before, but all the birds on these sort of statues of trees, all these statue birds, are all now pointed at you. And none of them are singing. None of them even look like they're singing. It looks like they were sculpted in place to all point in the direction of the sarcophagus where you were standing with a sort of menacing, glowering look.
I back slowly away from the sarcophagus.
I think I'll do that too, and I'll say, several birds with the.
Oh, I guess I notice and fuck off from the sarcophagus. I guess we're not doing this anymore.
Well, let's see how the birds react
To
moving away. Are they still staring at the sarcophagus, or did their eyes follow us?
they're still staring at the sarcophagus. I mean, they're made of stone. You didn't see them move before.
What happens if I blink?
Oh my god.
They're still staring at the sarcophagus right now.
Yeah.
Do they look like they have little, like, just for instance, like dart holes in their beaks or anything like that?
No, they look like sculptures of songbirds that are glowering and trying to look menacing.
I would.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, dude. Looking at the guy who said he would come with us.
Yeah.
Would you like to continue opening the sarcophagus for me?
Okay.
Again, in the crowbar. And I guess we wait to see what happens to that poor soul.
Are you just gonna move the lid myself?
I got your back, I say, taking a step backwards.
He moves forward, just like that's all I got to do, right? Just move the sarcophagus lid.
Yes.
All right, because I thought we were just here to talk to an alchemist, but is he in the sarcophagus?
We don't know what's in the sarcophagus, but it might be something that'll make your cut bigger.
He gets there and starts opening it. And you hear a few more pops. And everybody can make an intellect check again.
Passed.
Also passed.
Stinter, you're muted.
Failed.
How'd you do, Thibin?
Oh, pass.
All right. So 3 of you passed. You can't really see them move, but all the songbirds are sort of perched with their wings lifted as if they're ready to fly. When the dude sort of starts to move the lid. Do you do anything?
How many minutes has it been since I cast my shadow cloak?
You're fine.
Okay, then I'm gonna hide in plain sight.
All right. What about the other
it's a
folks?
fail. That is a fail. I do not hide in plain sight.
Oh. What about the other folks? Jesse, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch, see what happens.
Salazar?
Salazar's going to open his mouth as if to say something and probably hesitate way too long. Suspiciously long.
He starts to move the sarcophagus lid when you see the sarcophagus lid sort of yanked out of his hand and tilting towards the floor. And then you see a hand that's doing that, coming from inside the sarcophagus, sort of pushing the sarcophagus lid aside. And then you see all the birds just sort of move off the pillars all at once. And I need everybody to make an agility check.
Can I do that with advantage?
You can.
My light feet.
Difficulty.
2.
What
Oh
does
fuck! I critically failed. Then I keep rolling 2s.
What does difficulty level mean in the context of this game?
Just like White Hack, if you roll, you need to roll over the difficulty, but equal to or under your stat score.
I thought a 20 was a critical fail, but either way, I failed.
20 is a critical fail, but yeah.
Normal fail over here.
On spellcasting, difficulty or under or 20 are critical fails. But
yeah, and I had a critical success.
I failed.
If you failed, you take 1 point of damage as you try to ball up and cover yourself from the swarming birds. Jabril, it's less that they can see you and more they're just swarming everywhere and running into you.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like kind of like the keys from the first Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, but like
they can't really see you. They're swarming everywhere. It's more like the keys, but like heavy stones.
Yeah, which would hurt more, I imagine.
With long pointed beaks.
Yeah, that sounds painful.
And you can see your hireling who's sort of hiding under the sarcophagus as the hands sort of flail out of the sarcophagus trying to grab him, but he's like hiding sort of underneath the level, and now he starts darting towards that side door that goes to the west, back towards the entrance. What are y'all doing? The lid is sort of like half off. It's sort of hard, like the top of it is hard slammed onto the floor while the bottom is still sort of rested against the side of the sarcophagus. The air is filled with stone birds who are shrieking loudly.
How much damage you say we take from those birds?
1. I rolled really well for you guys.
Can we get a look at what's in there?
You're going to need to get closer, which means you're going to be walking through the birds.
I will dance my way through those birds.
You are dancing through those birds, and I'm not going to make you roll again since you got a critical success. And they are now starting to swarm on, especially your 2 visible friends, and try to figure out what this invisible thing they keep running into is. And you see a desiccated but beautifully dressed woman. You're guessing the one who was pictured on the top, trying to like get purchase on the sides of the sarcophagus so she can sort of lever herself out.
Hello, friend. And
she says something in the language of the music that you heard, the song. But you can't, it's not a language you understand.
Well, it seems we're going to have to work to understand each other.
And she tries to like push herself out with the...
Is there like a sense of I don't know how I would be able to tell this, but like...
she does not look at all happy.
At being awakened or at being imprisoned? I can't tell, can I?
Well, the dead, just look unhappy.
Well, this was a mistake.
Try to make an intellect check.
Yeah, you can do that. That is a fail.
I would like to try and read her thoughts if there's an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, she just sort of sits up and points at you and says something in a language you cannot understand, probably cursing you. You may now make that willpower check. As you're looking up at her, Salazar. DC 4.
I rolled a 10, which is a success.
Nice. Is it not a critical success? It's just a regular success?
Correct.
All right. It's all about a vision of it's almost like an old painting of Pentola, but not quite exactly the way it appears in paintings. And she's certainly being carried up a set of stairs in a litter as she sort of whips the slaves who are carrying her with one hand while sort of like reaching into a cage of songbirds to sort of scratch their little cheeks as they sing to her.
So the current situation is decidedly less pleasant than what she remembers.
That is sort of like you're seeing like her last memory or memory towards the end of her life, perhaps. But yeah, she's sort of associating you with the slaves who are supposed to be carrying her.
Oh. I guess I'll share this information. Like, she thinks we're her slaves.
And Asmus, you can see her sort of like pull herself onto her knees as if she's readying herself to get out of the sarcophagus.
I mean, I say to Salazar, I think I can play the part, and I like reach out my hand to help her up.
Brave choice.
I just really want these birds to stop what they're doing, and then we can maybe, rob her.
What's your willpower there, Asmus?
Not very high is the answer to that question. It is a 8.
She still rolls under it. You can see she is attempting to like drain your life away, either your life or your willpower. Really hard to see. But as she grabs your hand with her cold, mummified fist, you just take 1 point of vitality damage. As she like stares into your eyes, trying to like get purchase on you.
Yeah,
and the birds swarm, and everyone besides Asmus, please make an agility check again.
Success.
Success.
I rolled a 3. It kind of depends on what the difficulty is, I suppose.
The three is below the difficulty here. She sort of comes to. Her power is returning to her. So the difficulty was 4. You are. How did you? 1 second. Salazar, what's your armor? Medium?
Oh. Yes, it's medium. Should it have blocked the 1 damage from before?
Yes, it should have. But this time it's blocking all but 4 points of damage. So 4 points is what you're taking.
I am quite close to dead.
What is everybody doing now?
Recoiling back in horror.
I'm gonna swat at one of those birds with my machete and just see if we can knock one out of the air.
So just to paint that, to remind you guys kind of the scene, there's like your the guy you recruited, Yin's former retainer, has sort of like opened that door to the west that you suspect heads back roughly towards the entrance. There's the door that goes deeper into the tomb. That's to the north.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
think
back towards the way you came. And make a physique check there, Sibel.
Okay. And that succeeds.
You knock away all the birds around you. They're sort of broken on the ground, as stone things do when they fall, and they're unmoving. Now, as soon as they break, they just look like broken pieces of statue.
Okay, so do I have kind of a clear path to the sarcophagus now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my thought is, since this person seems a little dangerous, to try to grab her away and stuff her back in the sarcophagus.
The lid is still there. If you want to slide it back on, you are tough.
Okay, and that would push her back down into it, and
yeah.
Okay,
then do you want to just sort of like slam that lid back on?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Make a check to see if you can do it really fast before she summons anything to hurt you.
Okay, so you said doing it really fast, so is that going to be agility then?
Let's do physique.
Physique, okay. Thank you, because my physique is way better than my agility.
You're doing it fast, but you're also, just...
Well, I missed even the physique by 1, so...
Roll your luck.
Okay, so remind me how the luck
you're just going to roll a d6 and tell me what you get. I think you're at 4 out of 3.
Yeah.
For your luck.
Okay, I got a 4.
Nice. Yeah. You get it on there.
Okay.
I'm experimenting with some luck stuff I can explain, but I don't want to bore anybody at home.
Okay.
But you slam it into place. Knocking her back in. And as you do, all the birds except the ones you broke onto the ground, Sibel, are back on the pillars. Those pillars that look like trees. But they're still in that position where they're glaring at you with their wings extended.
Hmm. So I'll kind of, once I get the lid back on, I'll just kind of step back away from everything. Let the birds know that it's all back in place.
Maybe it's time to cut our losses and go back to the suzerain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when that door to the north opens. And Sibel, someone you recognize, a very nice gentleman from the banquet, is standing in the door. Looking directly at you.
I'm gonna kind of, hi. We were just going. Sorry about the mess.
Sorry about the mess. You've returned.
Yeah, we had some errands to run. Sorry about your banquet hall.
Oh no, it's much more useful with the vents opened.
Are you Paprika?
Yes, I'm Paprika. Are you leaving? Looking at
We
3 people behind Sibel. Very pointedly when he says that. Are you leaving?
we were going to ask one question and then we'll leave.
I'm very fascinated, he says, completely ironically, about the question. What will you ask?
Have you met a man named Jens?
No, I've never met a Jens.
All right, good. Then we're leaving now.
All of you? Looking meaningfully at Sibel.
Yeah. I'm working with them now, so we've got some stuff we got to take care of.
Yes, you do. I get a sense that you've not reached what I sent you to do quite yet. And he starts to turn around. I trust you know the way out. You found your way in.
Yeah. It's hard to miss. I'll lock up after we go.
Come back when you have found something. And he turns and he sort of starts to close the door behind him, but in that way that he's really sort of looking through the crack at you. Are you headed out, or are you just sort of standing still?
I guess we are headed out.
Yeah, headed out.
Yeah.
We're fucked up and we completed our mission, so...
I have zero interest in getting my willpower sucked by zombie things.
The music does not resume as you leave. Are you going back out the way you came, or are you going back out in the direction that the retainer fled?
The way we came is safer because we already know what's there, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the point. You have no problem getting out. You don't see the guy you hired. The zombie and the guy you left prisoner are still there.
Alright, I guess we'll untie the other guy and and grab the zombie with us.
Are you bringing back Yen's body?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we need proof of what happened. Yes.
I also would like to bring his body back for my brother.
Oh.
That I think he will want some closure, and I can hopefully successfully evade the truth as to how Jens died.
So closure, but not too much information.
I mean, I would like him to have a reasonable period of mourning and then move on with his life. Maybe find someone more agreeable.
So let's move to a quick sort of montage. The suzerain is quite pleased, according to the messenger who receives you, who says pleased in a dramatically understated way, and pays you the agreed upon amount plus a sizable bonus. You can count on further employment, I do suppose. Let's cut to a few days after the payment, where each of you relaxing, getting ready for another job or whatever else you're doing. What's the last scene we see of you? And we'll start with Salazar.
Salazar is living above ground now, at least barely. He's in a little garden level apartment, and has some thick curtains over the windows, and is basically just kind of trying to get himself comfortable, and occasionally peeking through the thick curtains at the people walking by, and kind of like nodding, like this is probably what I wanted. This is pretty normal, right?
Salazar, make one final luck check.
Is a 6 good? I don't think a 6 is good.
A 6 is not good. You hear a slightly sibilant voice say from the shadows of your apartment, I would definitely hope you would want more, Salazar. As a reeled reptilian figure steps into the candlelight. Asmus.
Yes.
You.
So I think where you find me is in a smoky room, in a corner of a smoky room, having a conversation with someone who's dressed too nicely to be in this room, but trying to hide it, about harvesting and selling cloak. What was it? What was the that cloak?
Crevice cloak.
Crevice cloak. Yes. And what we can do to take advantage of this clearly very large quantity of crevice cloak down in the in the catacombs.
Make an intellect check.
As a 1.
You're contact seems to lean in. And say, be honest with me. Where did you find it?
I'll tell you if you want to know, but I think you'd probably rather not.
I, of course, have no idea that it's where yins would disappear. But I don't know anyone who'd be interested in where yins would disappear.
He didn't have a lot of friends, Jens.
No, he didn't. And it seems your brother believes anything you say.
I try to look out for him, and he knows that.
Back to business, then. And he names a significant price for a a sample, a large sample, but a sample.
Mm-hmm.
A sample large enough that he could make a fairly sizable tasting event, but not enough that he could set up an industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'll accept that, and if you're satisfied with what you find, with how it is, maybe we can talk about setting up a larger pipeline.
That sounds lovely. Chabriel.
I think I'm just studying the book further, figuring out what
Which book is this? Tell us a little bit about it.
the book Sibel gave me, since it's the one thing I still have, and that is relevant to anything. But also, I'm curious as to what Paprika said about Sibel. So I'm just trying to see how is this book relevant to that, or rather, does it have any information that can tell me what that is?
Why don't you make an intellect check?
Okay, that's a fail.
You turn the page, and 3 pages behind this page are missing. And there's a print like a paw, somewhere between a paw and a hand. How do you know that your demon took those pages?
Well, other than the paw and the the thing that's halfway through a paw um in the hand, that would probably be enough. But like, I I think I remembered that. I think I just remember some like a detail I just didn't know before, that I actually gave it to him, those 3 pages. Sometime uh sometime in between adventures, he may have asked me for those 3 pages, and I just gave it to him.
And then you just completely forgot. It's odd how that happens when he asks you for favors. You forget you do them.
Yeah.
There's a note folded in the where those 3 pages have been ripped out.
I open it.
In very ornate paper that smells of sulfur and roses.
Alright. What does it say?
It says, "You are not my only business interest, and I cannot just let you know whatever it is you want to find out."
Cool beans. Alright. I just put the note back where it is and like close the book.
All right. Sibel, it's a few days later. What are you doing?
So I think we see kind of a like following Sybil from behind. She's coming from the like commercial district of town with a package under her arm, headed back towards her apartment. And as she crosses a bridge over a little kind of industrial canal that's like got all kinds of gunk in it and stuff, she takes out that key and tosses it into the water, watches it kind of disappear beneath the sludge, then continues on her way back to her apartment, goes in, sits down on the couch where she sleeps, opens up the package, and it's a pair of very nice boots that she's bought with her recent earnings.
Sibel, make a luck roll. You're still at 4.
Yeah. And I got a 3.
They are very nice boots. Extraordinarily well fitted. Almost like they were shaped just for your feet. And I think that is it. Thanks to everybody at home. It has been a blast to do this, and we will see you starting next month for a game called Barrow Keep. Thanks again to the players, and I will hope to see all of you soon.